What's going down, everybody? RWT family, SMR podcast listeners. This is long awaited, at least in my book, and I believe he may have been here before, but I don't know. At least not on my show, but a show at least. First off, you're like, what the hell's going on? Retro Rewind Pay-Per-View Edition. I know, it's crazy. We're finally got another one. WCW's Hog Wild 1996 from the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally in Sturgis, South Dakota. I am joined by one of the three admins of RWT, the man that, for crying out loud, used to legit, in his own backyard, put on better shows than what WWE is doing now, and that is Harold Joseph Hunter III. What's going down, brother man?
Yo, what's going on, Moses? Glad to be here. This is my first appearance on any show with anybody on RWT. So
you guys didn't do one with Amir?
No.
I could have sworn you guys did. Oh, maybe it was somebody else.
Yeah, never got around to it.
Oh, well then, hey, I beat Amir to it, and I will gladly take it. So,
yeah.
I mean, I will say this. I feel like everybody's gotten a little bit closer since Amir's left, and it's because of you and Messina being so just like chill. You know what I mean?
We try.
Like I was describing you to some people, and they're like, he sounds extra chill. I'm like, I consider him like the dude from what the fuck is the movie? The Big Lebowski. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, he's like the dude. He's just like, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
Exactly. And you know what? There's actually a philosophy called dudism, and I actually borrow from it quite a bit just because it seems to align with a lot of my personal beliefs. So I kind of find that cool that you brought that up.
Well, that's awesome. Well, because like I said, that's definitely like how I see you, and you're such a super chill dude. I have to learn from you. Being so just like, I can't. I'm just so extra on the edge. It doesn't help with kids. It's a mess, but it's okay.
Yeah, kids is a key factor to that. I do not have any children, and that helps a lot.
That it does. I mean, hey, I'm sure they would still be sitting down on Wednesdays with the rest of us, though, right?
That's right. We got to do that
each and every Wednesday. All right, so let's get into this. I don't want to say forced you because the fact is this was a good show. I at least enjoyed it. You said you enjoyed it. Hog Wild. I know everybody's just like, what the fuck, Hog Wild? Hey, yeah. I don't know. I don't ask the questions around here. I follow the rule. I follow the list. This is the show that's next. This is the show we do. So the show actually starts out with a quick description of what the Sturgis Rally is. And apparently it's like, right. It's in like this little ass town of like 4,000, 6,000 people. And they get like 250,000 people. And I'm like, what the shit? Yeah, that's insane. And then in the added mix, we get glimpses of the dudes on bikes. I think it was like Sting, Bischoff. I know I saw the Steiners. And then Bubba Rogers. And then for every pay-per-view, we got Dusty, Bobby the Brain Heenan, and Tony Schiavone on commentary. They're all trying their best to be in biker form. You got Heenan in all black because, you know, he thinks like bikers are the devil or whatever. And then you got Dusty in his biker cap and a whole lot of denim. And then Tony Schiavone. Tony, God, I love the Ski of Own. I love this man. But he's out here
all nervous and all.
Exactly. All nervous as all hell. Looking like Wayne from Wayne stock. I died when I seen him. I'm like, that's Wayne. He's like, somebody call that dude. Tell me to call Mike Myers and be like, bro, that's your doppelganger right there.
That's funny.
So we kick off as WCW is best known for with a cruiserweight title match, and we get the Ultimate Dragon. No, I didn't stutter. That's what they as Harold perfectly said, they've already westernized this guy, and this was his debut. The Ultimate Dragon coming out with Sonny Ono to take on Rey Mysterio Jr. for the cruiserweight title. Mike Tenay is, I guess he's the insider for WCW or whatever. So he knows all the guys from all around the world. And, you know, he knows all the cool hip moves, all the names of the cool new hip moves that these guys do. And it just baffles Dusty.
I actually wrote down that they were kind of treating Mike Tenay like how they treat Excalibur now. Like, they're like, oh, that's the name of that move, Mike?
I'm glad that you brought, because I wrote that down too. I was like, I feel like I'm in 2020 with like JR, like looking at Excalibur, like that's what that's called? Because that's exactly how it feels. So apparently, well, first off, Ray's in his Spider-Man gear, awesome set of gear.
Right.
We hear that they were on TV. If I'm a kid, and I was a kid at this time, and I saw Rey Mysterio and the Ultimate Dragon, or Ultimo Dragon, which I would actually probably know him as, walk down, and like that's going to be the opening match to Hog Wild, I'm begging my parents to buy this, like right now. Like I'm just like, nope, I have to do it. I'm actually surprised that Mike Tenay brought up the fact that Rey and Ultimo had teamed up in the past. Not a lot of people know that.
I didn't know that either. They
start off hot, which is just that's what the Cruiserweight division was known about. They go 100 miles an hour from the start of the bell. There's a USA chant. Ultimo covers his ears. I love this. And then like Ray's like, yeah, keep chanting. I'm like, wait a minute, bro. Ain't you from TJ? Like, I know you're from San Diego, but ain't you from TJ? I love to bring that stuff up. So
yeah, man, it was I love that they used the platform almost immediately too. Like how you said, for having an opener like that, they went right away to all the little tricks they had.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you had the baseball slide, taking Ultimo Dragon out. He ends up going all the way out to the dirt because this is already exposing that the ring's on a platform. I'm like, what in the world? Here comes little old Ray, just comes splashing in. They don't catch him. They don't catch him flying at all. They just catch him crashing into Dragon. I'm like, that was awesome. They fight back in. I swear to God, the running Liger Bomb is Ultimo's finisher, and he doesn't even cover him. And I'm like,
nah.
Like whatever, okay. He does this. He has this leg. He has the figure 4 on there, and like Heenan's making fun of him. He's calling him hombre, and I'm like, bro, he's from Japan.
I noticed that he made a couple Spanish references.
And I'm like, just because he's in a mask, bro, doesn't mean he's from Mexico. I mean, honestly, at one point, I was probably that naive as myself, but they say it loud as shit. He's from Tokyo, Japan. He's from wherever. Like, pay attention, bro. So this thing is just, it ends up just being this awesome, just crazy awesome match. I absolutely loved it. Ultimo does this crazy awesome spot where he like misses the Tiger Fang kick, catches himself on the ropes, drags himself back in, hits like a moonsault or a moonsault or a shooting star, one of those two. And I'm like, I legitimately immediately thought of Nick Jackson. I'm like, is this where you got this spot? I'm pretty sure this is where you got that spot. So, I mean, I can't even. We'll talk the finish real quick. Ray sets Ultimo on top of the turnbuckle, springboards off the second rope, hits a Hurricane Rana. That actually leads to the ending, but balls to the wall. I absolutely loved this match. It was a hell of an opener. Great debut for Ultimo Dragon. I can't say Ultimate Dragon. It doesn't compute. I'm sorry.
Right.
And Ray looks darn unbeatable. At least he has for the last few weeks while reviewing these shows. So, as you've listened, because you've listened to other shows in the past, I always rate these matches. So yep. I will let you go first with this one. What'd you rate it?
I gave it 3 1/4.
See, I knew I wasn't going to be too far past you. I gave it 3 3/4 though. I said I felt it was great. Just nice. A banger. Was there any spot or anything that like took your breath away?
I'm going to say no. I was surprised that I think they had mentioned that was their first time going one-on-one against each other.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of surprising that they had quite a bit of chemistry, but it makes sense that you had mentioned that they had tagged in the past, so that explains a lot of the chemistry that they had. No, nothing too crazy that stood out for me. I just really loved their use of the platform right away. Like you mentioned, the outfits that they were wearing, the speed that these guys were going, it was just the perfect opener to that show.
Yeah, it was great. We get Cool Mean Gene all nice and dressed up. He's talking about the hotline, as he fucking always does. And he says that there's some interesting individuals in the back, and they could maybe be a part of the NWO. And I'm like, oh, just fucking kill me. Anyway.
Who isn't?
Yeah, like I'm about
it's
to say.
It's like Mean Gene Little, do you know?
I'm like, yeah, that's what I always think when he like brings up like, oh, who's going to be next? I'm like, everybody. Do you hear me?
Everybody.
Go to the back and just interview this guy. In about a year and a half, you're going to be a part of the NWO. No, I'm not. I'm WCW through and through. And then bam.
Yep.
So up next, we got Scott Norton and Ice Train. So this has been like a match building for weeks. They were a tag team that just couldn't get along. I personally loved them as a tag team. They just couldn't get along. Mm-hmm. Two just strong-headed dudes, and they eventually were like, okay, we're going to fight. But then, oddly enough, like, they would save each other from getting beat up, so they're 100% for this match. And I'm like, okay. And then, fucking Ice Tray comes in with a goddamn messed up shoulder. Pissed me off. Absolutely drove me bananas. So these two giant dudes are just in there clubbering the shit out of each other. It's like, Norton no-sells everything. He goes right after the arm of Ice Train. He's throwing him into the post. Ice Train wakes up, fucking karate chops Norton. I'm like, what the hell? But hey, fucking there's some offense for you. But again, Norton's no-selling everything, so he bounces right back up. I think there was a power slam by Ice Train. I think that was like the end of all of his offense. And then Norton locks in this armbar. And that was it. And I'm like, really? You fucking saved each other? You couldn't wait to get your hands on each other? And then this is what you give me? It's bullshit. So as a man who is not following, or maybe you're following as best you can, what did you get out of this, knowing the storyline or not?
I didn't follow the storyline going into this, so everything that I knew about the match going into it was directly in the result of what was being said on the pay-per-view itself. I thought the match was pretty solid for what it was. It was really short. I liked that you mentioned the no-selling bit about Scott Norton, because at one point I said to myself, people always talk all this mess about nobody no-selling nowadays, and this guy is just no-selling everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
It's crazy. What do you got for a rating?
Rating, I gave it 2.25, which I thought was a little generous.
That you're telling me.
Yeah, but I liked that it was kind of brutal. Like it looked like these two guys had beef. It looked
awesome
like
match.
They were really trying to hurt each other. But yeah, I thought it fell flat at the end, and there was really no resolution to the story they were telling. So it kind of fell off.
Yeah, you're telling me it kind of fell off. Well, generous is something I would definitely say your rating is. I gave it a 1.5. I was absolutely hoping for more, but Norton did look like a giant clubbering dude in there that I just don't want to make mad. And I hope Ice Train bounces back. I know he comes in and out of WCW, but he's bigger than Scott Steiner and moves at the same speed. And that's what I love about this guy, but he has like no charisma. So
unfortunately.
The downsides of it all.
Mm-hmm.
So we get a cool little Ric Flair promo. This is very, very old school. So he's talking about how the NWO hurt his best friend and says if Arn is down, he'll be there. They bled, they sweat, and they cried together. He says that this is an emotional business. It'll take a toll on you. Flair he says he had decided in his mind that the NWO and the Horsemen could coexist, but then they jumped down Anderson, and now they got to go. His only other friend, which I'm like, that's bullshit, is WCW. And he's like, I will stand up for this company. I'll even fight for this company. If it's one company against the other, whether you like it or not, Sting and Luger, it's us against them. And then Jimmy Hart's back with the goddamn merch spot, and I'm just like, okay, go away. And then we get, so the stipulation for this is we've been having Medusa wrestle just women brought in by Sonny Ono from Japan. I can't even tell you who at the moment. It's like not even registering. But the idea of this match was the winner got to destroy the loser's bike. Now, with that being said, Bull Nakano, again with Sonny Ono, coming out against Medusa, of all people.
All right.
It's this Harley versus the Honda, and it's her personal Harley, by the way. Her pink painted up Harley, whatever, So Nakano has these nunchucks, right off the bat, starts beating the hell out of her. Oh, them nunchucks is what Dusty said. I don't know how the hell he said it.
Yeah, Dusty, nunchucks. He was loving those nunchucks.
He's all, them things on a chain. And I'm like, hey,
Bruce Lee used to hit people with him.
When he said that, I had to pause because I couldn't stop laughing. That's the thing I love about Dusty, though. He's if only JR could adapt this way.
Right.
And like just turn all of his like nostalgia, like I'm a older guy in a younger man's, area, if you will. I should be funny.
Yeah. Embrace it instead of trying to fight your dementia on live television.
There you go. Embrace the craziness. So, oh god, okay, I'm gonna get through this as fast as I can because it was fine. I mean, I'm not gonna say it was a bad match, but I mean, it was Nakano for the most part was throwing Medusa around. All of a sudden, she wakes up. She's Seth Rollins 24 years before Seth Rollins was a thing, and she sling blades the crap out of her. And I'm just like,
yeah,
okay, Seth Rollins a Medusa fan, got it. So. They're in the. I want to say I've seen this hold before. I can't remember it. It's this. So I wrote sub hold, and Heenan of course calls it the Japanese scorpion, and I'm like, you would like have to that's Heenan for you. They fuck up a roll up. They do this like the Medusa hits this like picture perfect bridging German. I thought that was awesome. All of a sudden, the fucking match breaks down. There's this bridging back suplex by Nakano. Medusa's arm comes up, but the dumbass ref still hits 3. And I'm like looking immediately, is that my dumbass, arch enemy Nick Patrick? And I don't believe it was. But it was like, dude hits 3. Sonny Ono grabs his fucking sledgehammer, runs straight to her bike, and just hits the seat. And I'm just like, and then that caused the bell to ring. And I'm like, is there like something attached to that seat? Did he win a prize? It threw me off. I'm going to be honest here. It threw me off. So then Medusa takes this thing from him and just goes to town on this fucking Honda. They're calling it plastic. She's ripping it apart. I'm just like, it didn't even do anything. Like she like ripped a panel off.
Yeah.
And smashed the fucking headlight. And didn't even know. She didn't even smash the headlight. It didn't break.
Nope.
So I'm like, if she did like one good swing on that Harley, that shit would be fucked up.
Right.
You guys are plugging Honda's bikes over here. Oh, Lordy. So, what'd you get out of this thing, and what do you got for a rating?
Let's see. So, a couple things that I wrote down. Obviously, a lot of the brains commentary, stuff that people would probably frown at today, like calling Sonny Ono the kamikaze biker when he came in on his little Honda. When Bull Nakano came out, he was like, what did he say? How'd you like to come home an hour late to dinner?
Oh, yeah, go home to that every night. And I'm just like, oh, dude.
Yeah, I'm just like, and then with the nunchuck thing, like, she hit Medusa with the nunchuck
multiple times.
Twice. One time with the ref's back turn, the other time directly in front of the ref. The bell had already rang, and the ref says nothing. That kind of set the precedence for this match. But I want to say I thought that the two workers had quite a bit of chemistry.
Right?
I don't know if that sounds weird, but despite the fact that it was a terrible ending, it was very confusing. The match was really short, but they did have some chemistry for a few moves there, including the suplex that you mentioned. I gave it 2 1/4, the same that I gave to Norton and Train.
Right on. Well, maybe I'm a little generous on this one. I gave it a 3. I said action-wise, it's probably the best I've seen Medusa. Bull Nakano is a hell of a worker. The ending absolutely sucked ass. It's the dumbass ref's fault. It's the same dude. It is the fucking bowl cut mullet motherfucker. It is the same dude that threw out the match with Scott Norton getting clotheslined over the top rope. And I'm like, bro, this is not 1983.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't know if he disqualified Sonny Ono because he hit the bike or because I was just so confused.
Yeah, not exactly an ending in this one. But that's WCW for you.
Right.
So, up next, we have something that every time you see these guys in this fashion against each other, never disappoint. They can let you down because maybe they didn't go as long as you wanted them to, but they absolutely never disappoint. Dean Malenko against Chris Benoit.
Solid.
Jimmy Hart comes out again with Malenko, and I guess he had gotten Jimmy's help to get a title shot. That was earlier today, which I'm like, he obviously lost. So whatever. Benoit comes out to his old thing, and people are probably thinking, why in the hell are you paying attention? I pay attention to the little things, people here. Okay, that should have been the Horseman theme. He came out with the women. Anyway, so
right.
This match has been building ever since Malenko cost Benoit a match against Eddie Guerrero. And then me, because I've been, I guess mainly, and I blame Dark Side of the Ring for this one, I pay a little bit more attention now to how Woman and Benoit interact. And just right after the bell rang, like, as much as I know, they had themselves a little moment right there on the right there on the apron, and I'm thinking one of two things: either this is about the time that they start getting together, and that would actually make sense because the week prior, Jimmy Hart had came out and was yelling at Woman, "What are you doing out here? There's a guy in the back that he's pointing to Kevin Sullivan on his fucking tie of all things." And it's like, every time, when he's mad at me. Like, you need to go back there and make sure he's not mad anymore. And I'm like, huh. Yeah. Interesting. I mean, for those that know already, the idea is Kevin Sullivan actually booked his own divorce. And it comes true. Which is...
I literally wrote yeesh in my notes.
Right?
For like the first note, it says yeesh, and it says in relation with Woman, because I think they start mentioning it right away. There's like a little scuffle in the beginning of them.
Oh, yeah. Right off the bat. So we would absolutely be here all night long if I could go through this entire thing.
Right.
That's just, okay. So the idea is they were having just like a great match to start out. It's a 20-minute time limit. So about for the first like maybe 5-6 minutes, they're just in there kind of just, doing what they do, just going out there, do what you can, put on some moves, and then all of a sudden it changes to whatever you can do, I can do better. And it was legit like Malenko would hit a suplex, then Benoit would hit 2 of them, and it'd just be stuff like that. All of a sudden, we hear like 5 minutes left, and Benoit uses the Lion Tamer. Heenan dubbed it the Canadian Crippler, or the Canadian crab or something like that. And I'm like, wait, what? Or the Crosser crab, something. I'm just like, you're distracting me. Knock it the fuck off. But they're doing this move, and I'm like, first off, the second I see the Lion Tamer, I'm like, I hope Chris is somehow, reading my brain and thinking he needs to start using the Lion Tamer, being Jericho, that is. But yeah, so they're doing this whole thing. All of a sudden, there's like, we hear 30 seconds left, and I'm like, oh wow, a count out. Oh, that sucks, but hey, I'm down for that. And then no,
right?
All of a sudden, they're gonna add 5 minutes, and I'm like, okay, I'm down. Like, that's cool. Let's ride. The fans hate it. They can't fucking stand it. They're like, what the fuck do you mean 5 more minutes? Like, son of a bitch.
Yes.
So they keep going, and it's the same thing. There was a weird spot where, like, Malenko has a leg hook, or Benoit has Malenko in the cloverleaf. Woman is screaming like Benoit is getting his ass kicked. I'm just like, what the fuck's going on? Whatever. I ignored it. It goes that 5 minutes. And again, fucking Nick Patrick walks over. Nope, it's got to be a winner. 5 more minutes. I'm like, you are a piece of shit. Like, yeah. I don't want to see another 5 more minutes. The extra 5 was fine. Do a sudden death 5 minutes? Cool. If it's a draw, fuck it. It's a draw. I totally took away a half a star from this match because of this last 5 minutes. I mean, wow. It was fine. There was the bridging dragon suplex. I always love that move. Kenny has just made me love it. I blame him. There's Malenko gets the cloverleaf locked in. He just lets it go because he wants to pull Woman's hair, which I thought was kind of weird. And then Benoit gets a roll up. And I'm like, you couldn't have did that in the first 5 minute fucking thing?
Right.
Infuriating. Nonetheless, it was still very enjoyable.
Right.
So, what do you got for a rating of why?
Let's see. So for the rating, I gave it 3 1/4. Same that I gave to Mysterio and to Ultimo Dragon. I thought it was a really solid match. Not anything we haven't seen from these two guys before. The only thing that we really didn't see before would be something like the ending, which was obviously the draw, and then the two overtimes, which I wrote down as well. The crowd absolutely hated the 5 minutes being added each and every time. It seemed like their favorite part of the match was the countdown at the end of it. They were into that like crazy.
Yeah, they could give a shit about the rest of it.
Yeah, like it felt like that match was kind of poorly placed. I felt it kind of slowed down the momentum of the event. I would have switched the tag title match to come before this because the crowd, you could tell, it just killed the crowd for a whole half hour. The crowd was watching a mat-based match, and it was right in the middle of the show. And to me, that kind of killed any momentum these guys could have had to bring any kind of excitement to the overtime.
Yeah, it was definitely like the crowd gave it no help, and then at the same time, we're just like, I'm sure the viewer too would have been like, okay, can we? The second, like again, I said it. The second one, a little too much. But I still really enjoyed everything they did. I went above and beyond. I gave it a 4. I said I would have loved this match if it just would have ended after the first overtime. I said, but now it's overkill. I was originally, like, when it was a 20-minute draw, I immediately wrote 4.5. I was like,
nice.
Fuck, it's up there, bro. I love this thing. And then it was like, ew. Just slowed it down. Okay, all right. But still, good stuff by them. We're going to see a hell of a lot more from them. So, I love the Steiner Brothers and I love Harlem Heat. And that's the tag match we got up next for the tag titles. I did not know Booker knew how to get heat off of just calling one dude a redneck. But holy shit, did this guy get some. He got heat for a legitimate, like, 4 minutes. Like, they couldn't do anything for 4 minutes. I'm like, God damn, and you're outside.
I'm sure they had heat the second they walked into that town.
Yeah, I was going to say. I didn't want to be the only one to say it.
Yeah.
But I was just like, oh, not welcome in South Dakota, are we? Gotcha. Okay. But I mean, it was, and then, like I said, the redneck comment didn't help. It was over, I wouldn't say it was over the top, but I mean, like, it took them over the top. And then, so the match goes on. I love when Scott Steiner's in there, because his idea is, I'm going to throw you. That's it. That's just, he doesn't think about anything else. He thinks about, how am I going to throw you?
And it looks beautiful every single time.
I don't know anybody that can suplex as good as he can.
Taz comes close, but Steiner
he's the only. But and the funny thing is like Taz is legit half the size of Scott.
Yeah,
especially in their prime. You know what I mean? I mean, like, I'm not saying Taz wasn't a strong ass dude. You know what I mean? But then you got this big motherfucker who looks like your current client, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
So it's and then Booker. I think Booker's a legit 6'5", and maybe Stevie Ray is probably like 6'6", maybe 6'7", and they're big fucking dudes, and he's just heaving them like nothing.
Yeah.
Scott
easily.
Rick Steiner gets over with his leaping clothesline all day long. It's just great.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the one thing I will put down is Stevie, he gets blown up fast, so he immediately goes into like a 3-minute chin lock. And I'm like, bro, you're killing me. You slow him down every fucking time. There was a spot where Stevie low bridges Rick Steiner. He goes outside. I think even Sherry gets a couple shots in while he's hanging out there. Booker spin-a-rooney. He spin-a-roonies his way up, does his leg lariat. And then I have to give a shout out to the fan with the Junior Seau jersey in the back. I appreciate you. Scott Steiner gets the hot tag, lays everybody out, hits this over-the-head belly-to-belly on Stevie, which is just fucking impressive. Then we see Colonel Robert Parker and Sherry throw powder in the face of Scott Steiner, then smash him with a cane, which allows Booker to get the win. I was just like, fuck, really? So,
yeah.
I'll let you go first on this one. Well, what'd you give for a rating, and how'd you feel about it?
I gave this one a 3. I thought it was really solid. Both of these teams were in their primes. They just looked good all around. Stevie Ray is always just the weak link in these types of matches.
He is, though.
He does a good job working the crowd, but like you said, he kind of fizzles on his offense. You can kind of tell he relies a lot on Booker T for a lot of the offense that gets them over. Which, by the way, Booker T's leg lariat is like one of my favorite moves, and I love every time Peter Avalon uses it as well in AEW. So yeah, that's all I got for this match. I thought it was just a good solid tag match.
Well, that's great. I mean, I gave it a little bit more. I mean, I gave it a little less, I should say. I gave it a 2 3/4. The match was pretty good. A lot of crowd reaction. Big thanks to Booker calling a bunch of people rednecks. I said the ending though was probably like the dirt worst. I said not only did Robert Parker miss Scott and hit fucking Booker in the face with that, but you can also see a bunch of powder all over Scott's face, and this dumbass rest apparently can't see shit, and I just yell fuckery. But that's how it goes. That's how it goes. And then more Sturgis stuff. We see the guys riding in. I think the only other guy that wasn't out there the first time that I mentioned all these dudes was Mongo with his little doggy.
Yeah, I loved this little Sturgis video because of the guitars that were going in this segment were going hard as hell.
Oh yeah,
with their little like harmonies that they were doing, and it's so like 80s, 90s, and they're in front of the JCPenney at the mall,
right,
in the parking lot, showing off their motorcycles, and like you said, Mongo's got his little puppy all dressed up, and they're wearing all this biker gear and heavy denim. It's like one of the best time capsules that I've seen in a while.
But I laughed because I'm like, of course Scott Steiner would be the only dude riding down this fucking highway with a shirt off. Crazy bastard. But then we get another title match, WCW US Heavyweight Championship match, Eddie Guerrero, Ric Flair. Again, two names, you hear them, you're immediately thinking greatness. Right. A shoving match between these guys and Stoods. So after a shoulder tackle, it turns into a slap fight. Flair bumps for Eddie. I immediately died. I'm just like, he slapped him. He just boom. He didn't sell the slap. He got hit and took a bump, and I laughed. So Flair goes for a back body drop, and like Eddie's trying to do like the reverse where you turn it into a splash, and I don't know who fucked it up, but somebody fucked it up, and Rick is just screaming and yelling like he broke his fucking wrist, and you got Eddie outside like, fuck, I twisted my ankle, and I'm just like, okay, don't do that again, check.
Yeah. So
it was like Eddie would do some stuff, and then Flair would be like, okay, no. Let me go rethink this. How the hell am I going to beat this kid? And then it turns into I don't want to say every Flair match ever, because Flair's he doesn't throw a lot of strikes in his matches. In this one, I feel like he threw a little bit more than normal. He did, however, does the same lovely spots, the military press off the top rope, all that fun stuff. There was a spot in the match where Eddie actually clotheslines Flair over the top ropes, and I'm looking at this bull cut mullet having motherfucking ref like, go ahead, throw it out. Do it so I can scream and yell, you piece of shit. But surprisingly it didn't. I'm just glad, thank God. The ladies distract, which allows Flair to put to punt Eddie right in the balls. There's a sunset flipped attempt by Eddie, and then he couldn't like get him over, so he's like trying to do it by his tights, and half of fucking Flair's ass is showing. And Flair's like, well, now's the chance to get some crowd love. So he walks all around the ring with his ass hanging out like the worst plumber in the world, and then goes down for the sunset flip. This man loves attention. He doesn't give a shit if he's being embarrassed. He loves attention.
Yep.
So Eddie ends up hitting his frog splash, comes up selling his knee. That's when Flair just locks in the figure four, and with the help of Woman, Flair's able to keep Eddie's shoulders down and gets the win. I really enjoyed this one. But what did you think?
I liked it a lot. I gave it a 3.5. I think that's the highest rating I have on this card. Spoiler alert, sorry.
No.
Yeah, I liked it. What I really like about it is you could tell at this point that Eddie is already a crossover star. He's already has that adaptability to where this entire match, there is very little, if any, lucha wrestling at all.
Right.
It was all something that Flair could work with. It worked perfect with Flair. Eddie looking young and having the white gear made him look real baby face, real rookie. So everybody was like, oh, this guy going up against Ric Flair. That was basically the whole story of the match. Like, this guy is not going to beat Ric Flair, which he didn't, but there was at some points in the match where you were really rooting for him. You really thought he could do it. I thought the frog splash was really ugly in this match, but obviously it set up the ending, so that was the reason for that, I'm assuming.
I would sure hope so.
And the whole Ric Flair ass spot, he really loved it. The audience loved it, and something that I thought was kind of funny is after that spot, the only thing you hear in the audience is high-pitched conversations. So it's either women or kids just having a ball over that spot, the sunset flip spot. So I thought that was pretty hilarious.
As did I. I went a little bit above you on this one. I guess call it being biased, or I don't know. Maybe I just watched this shit too much. I gave it 4 1/4. I said I cannot help but love these guys. They worked an awesome match with a great story that the Young Buck took the U.S. champ to the limit. He worked his style and still took him there. Great match. Great story.
Yep.
Which is it's totally missed these days in a lot of situations. It's telling a very, very simple in-ring story. You don't have to have weeks and months of build. You can go in there against anybody and have the newcomer against the guy that loses all the time. You can make a story out of anything. Seriously.
Yeah, it literally, the story could have started at that pay-per-view and ended at that pay-per-view, and it was solid.
Exactly. But that's also one of the great things that he's, that Eddie's there for. He's just, and I don't want to put it all, because I don't want to put it all on Flair, because we know how good Eddie ends up becoming. But this, you got, I think he's maybe 2 years into WCW at this point. And it's like, he's, like how you said, he's already a transition star. He's able to work pretty much able to work anybody's style at this point, because I have not really seen a bad match from him yet. And the guy fucking wrestled Bubba Rogers the other day. And I hate that fucking guy.
Yeah. What's interesting too is at this point when I was a kid, I remember when Eddie makes the heel turn and starts wearing the darker gear, starts greasing up his hair and everything. For a second, I didn't realize it was the same Eddie Guerrero from my VHS tape that I owned of this pay-per-view. I had no idea it was the same guy, even though with maybe a year or two from when he made this appearance that he ended up turning heel.
Yep.
Just because the way he looked, the story he was telling with his characteristics and everything, it was just on point.
Everything about it was great. So we got Mean Gene out there with Giant and Jimmy Hart. Hart says, tonight, Hogan, it's a giant step for you. Don't trip and fall, because there won't be anybody out there to pick you up. Giant says he's been thinking about a long history of betrayal is all that's on his mind. He says he was the biggest Hogan fan growing up, and when he told all the fans and kids to stick it, you reminded me of all the pain you caused. Tonight, in Sturgis, I'll be sticking it to you. I'll stick my hand over your throat until your eyes pop out of your head, then drive you through the mat. Ashes to ashes and dust to dust. Tonight, I lay Hulk Hogan to rest. And I'm like, and why did you suck as the Big Show?
Right? That was so sick.
God. They fucking ruined this guy.
Yep.
Oh, it was plain. It was simple, not plain. Let me stop that. It was simple. Right. It was to the point, and it made you want to see it.
Yep.
Fantastic.
And he did it all himself. That whole promo, he didn't get any help. He didn't have any hype on it. Basically, like that whole story he told on his own, captivated you on his own. Like, man, the dude could work back then.
That he could, and also I thought his choke slam was the best there was back then.
Fire.
It's something about like he would follow through with it. It's just Like, it was a choke slam rock bottom. It was just fucking great.
Yep. And that is one of the notes that I wrote down. He kind of almost had an adaptability to his choke slam as well. By the end of the Giant Hogan, I don't want to go into it. We'll save that for the Giant Hogan match. But I'll just say I agree with you.
I dig it. Well, yeah, we'll definitely pick that whole thing apart. But before that, we do got the Outsiders, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash taking on Lex Luger and Sting. So I immediately laughed when I saw Hall and Nash playing rock, paper, scissors to see who goes first. I'm just like, of course these fucking guys would. And then Luger, the thing that makes this a little weird for me is I'm like, dude, like Luger seems like he doesn't care about these guys. The entire time I've been watching, I feel like he doesn't give a shit about it. But the second he locks up with Scott Hall, he drags him into the corner to where Scott Hall's got to fucking climb the turnbuckle to kind of get away. Like, bro, he is off. And Nick Patrick, and it's, again, one of the many reasons why I hate this fucking guy, counts to 5, and then it's like, oh, I better fucking get in there.
Idiot.
Come on, bro. So, it's just, the entire story of this match is Sting comes in, and he's trying to wrestle Nash at first, and he goes to, like, want to slam him, and obviously that doesn't happen. But he got this big old elbow, knocked him silly. But then he comes back. He's able to stick and move. You know, he's able to outspeed Nash, get a bunch of shots in, and then he's able to slam him after a thumb to the eye. And then there was he got caught with a leapfrog, and then that was just the end of it. At that point, he got beat on from that point on. Maybe got a hope spot here, maybe got a hope spot there. Nash does this running quote unquote boot in the corner. If you thought he hit him at all, you're blind.
Yep.
Jesus, I've never seen somebody like be such a blatant miss. But wow. Yep. So all of a sudden, Sting is able to knock Nash down with a shoulder tackle, and then he, because he's just this gigantic wall of a man, he's kind of knocked loopy, and then falls right into Nash's balls. Shivani screams, "Do it again!" And I died. I said the attack on Sting continues. There was the big boot from Nash. Hall wants to go for the Razor's Edge. Sting reverses it. Luger gets the hot tag, runs wild. Sting even wakes up, splashes Nash in the corner. They're fighting outside. He's got the death lock on, like it's going to do anything. Luger hits a power slam. He tries to rack Hall. He can't lift him. He runs into Nick Patrick. Nick Patrick legitimately chop blocks fucking Lex Luger and then counts the pin. And I'm like, you see why I don't like this fucking guy? No. Absolutely just pissed me. And then he could not wait to raise their fucking hands. And I'm like, what the fuck? Dusty's even saying it was a fast count. I was baffled and upset. But what was your thoughts on this whole thing?
Yeah, just from the start, just the booking itself, I knew I wasn't going to be a big fan of this match. I know you're going to hate me, hate on this, Moses, but I am not a big Sting fan at all. Luger even less. Yeah, so I'm just I knew this match was going to be a little let down for me. I thought it was boring. I thought it was real slow. I wrote down a lot of the moves I saw didn't connect.
Right.
Including there was a bunch of them. Big boot in the corner. I was like, what is going on? Yeah, it was just, and the ending, Nick Pat, you could tell they tried to do the, where Luger wheels him around and he gets kicked in the face. And then he did the chop block at first. He did the drop, but Luger had him up in the corner. The cameras weren't ready. So you can kind of tell either the producers or maybe even Luger or somebody in the ring told Nick Patrick, or maybe he took it upon himself to say, I'm just going to do the whole spot again because it didn't work the first time. And it didn't work the second time either. It looked worse the second time. So I don't know what they thought they were going to accomplish with that, but that's what they went with.
I gave it a 2. You gave it a 2. Attaboy, as you should. Yeah. I said it was all right. I gave it a 3. I enjoyed it. I said but they did beat the shit out of Sting. Luger looked like the only strong dude in the entire thing. I'm almost now sure that Nick Patrick is the 4th guy of the NWO. So we get to the main event. At least this is what everybody wanted as the main event, obviously, because it's the world title match. So WCW world title match, Hollywood Hulk Hogan taking on the Giant. Michael Buffer's out to do the intros as the Harleys are just going bananas in the background. So he's got this elaborate fucking introduction for Hulk Hogan and then like a sentence for the Giant. And I'm like, what the fuck? But whatever, I don't pay the guy, so not my fucking problem.
Michael Buffer.
They stall forever. Hogan is just like, I'm not going in there. And then And then the ref's like, fuck this, I'm ringing the bell. Hogan's like, I'm out of here. And all of a sudden he decides, oh, okay, cool, I'll go in there. And then Giant hits him or does a move and he fucking rolls outside. And I'm like, okay. And then fucking he's like, come over. He's trying to bait him into going into the corner. And then he draws a line at his foot, like, come on, bet you won't cross that. So what does Giant do? Looks at him, I can do that too. He draws a line in front of his feet. No, you come over here. And I'm like, okay, back in the third grade. Got it. And then it turns into, and I only say this because I've never seen it, nor do I want to. This turns into Hogan and Andre. Okay, it's a fucking test of strength battle that goes way too long. Way too fucking long. There's the fucking hair pulling. I'm like, what are you, a girl? I just seen Medusa. Like, Medusa didn't want to pull hair, and you know what I mean? Like, she's working better than you fucking guys. It's every time the fucking ref's back is turned, Hogan throws in closed fist shots. They work a wrist lock forever, and it looks like shit, by the way. That's like one of the worst standing wrist locks I've ever fucking seen in my life. And I'm just like, this is also coming from the guy that can't apply the figure four correctly, being Hulk Hogan. And it's like, it's not that hard, bro. It's really not that hard. The one cool spot I will say is Giant hulking up and then hitting the big boot. He calls for the choke slam. I thought that whole little Hulk up spot was kind of cool. Then we see Hall climb the turnbuckle, and I'm like, what the fuck is this gigantic dude doing on there? He gets caught. He gets choke slammed. Nash comes in. He gets choke slammed. Hogan comes in with the title belt, whacks him. That's the win. And I'm just like, of course it would be. I'm like, right. I know all this shit has all happened, but like I said, it's been like 24 years since I really watched all this. And I still get surprised because I'm just like, I knew they were gonna, but I'm like, you really did it though. Okay. So, but what are your thoughts on this one? I can't wait to hear this.
This one, I gave it a 2 as well. I wrote down that there was a lot of lazy mat work. I thank them for trying to do mat work. I give them that. They were trying to, I don't know if they were trying to make it look like a legitimate competition or if they were just, we don't know what else to do, so let's just throw in some mat work because it was lazy as hell. Mm-hmm. It looked like there was a lot of miscommunication towards like the middle-ish ending to the match.
Yeah.
There was one point where it looked like the Giant wanted to hit a big boot, so he sends Hogan to one corner. Hogan bounces back off of it. Giant goes for the big boot, and Hogan kind of repositions himself to not take the big boot. So Giant settles for a stomach kick, and then he sets up the same exact spot. So that's when I thought, okay, he's trying to hit his big boot because he does the same thing again, sends Hogan to the other side. Hogan bounces back out. He goes for the big boot. Hogan switches his position again, and he hits him with the same gut kick. And then he kind of just moves on for a couple moves, and then he goes and hits the big boot spot, and it looked a lot better at that point. So I don't know if it was miscommunication or if Hogan didn't want to bring the match home yet and wanted to drag out the match a little longer, but I thought that kind of took away from the match.
Sounds like Hogan.
Choke slam. What's that?
I said, that sounds like Hogan. Drag it out. I need to be out here as long as I can.
Yeah, probably just like, not yet, brother. Don't bring it home.
We got to milk it.
I thought Giant's choke slam on Hall looked like shit.
Yes.
But his choke slam on Nash looked fantastic.
Yes.
And I was surprised because I thought, Nash being the bigger guy, it wouldn't look as well. But he did that rock bottom thing that you were talking about with Nash, and the payoff looked really good on that one. But yeah, that's all I wrote for that match. Just kind of, you kind of saw the ending coming, and they kind of just played with it and fell right into it without really any decent execution. It was just, all right, let's just do it.
Yep. What do you got for rating?
I got a 2 on that one.
2? Okay, I'm not so for far. I gave it a 2.5, and I just wrote, I swear it's Hogan and Andre with some added shit. So, after the match, we see the Booty Man come out with his NWO shirt. I thought it was fucking Kenny Omega. I don't know why. I'm just like, is that Kenny? What the? Oh, no, never mind, sorry. And then he's out there with some goons walking with his cake in hand because it's Hogan's birthday. He grabs the mic and says, "Yo, yo, yo, the NWO is the way to go." And then Booty Man congratulates him on becoming the new NWO World Champion, wishes him happy birthday, and then he thanks him for being there for him for 22 years. And Hogan gives him the kiss of death and says, you being here is very special to me. He says, like, you're like blood, but you can't miss business and friendship. But this is a special occasion. And then, he tells the guys, "Get him, boys." Nash is holding the Booty Man, and Hogan just beats the crap out of him. And then Hogan grabs the mic again and yells, "Flair." He's like, "That's business, brother. That's my best friend. If I'll do that to my best friend, what am I going to do to you?" And then he's like, "What am I going to do to you in Denver, Colorado?" Because that's, you got to plug the city because I don't fucking know.
Of course.
And then the NWO rules, brother. And there was a little present on top of this cake. It ends up being the can of spray paint. He spray paints NWO on the title belt. And as they're leaving, Hogan says right into the camera, "Armageddon is going to wipe everybody out, brother." And I'm like, yep. In about 5 years, it's going to wipe everybody out. You're absolutely right. Because WCW is gone, bro.
It's true. Or was he referring to 2020?
Hey, maybe that too. Maybe he was a fortune teller, bro, talking about, 24 years from now. But regardless, I mean, I will say that when I did In Your House, which was the last pay-per-view we did, I really enjoyed it. But this one, I don't know what it is with WCW shows. They're just more up my alley. Maybe that's what I grew up with more. That's the one thing I did not get a chance to ask you. Did you grow up a WCW kid or a WWF kid?
I was WCW. I got hooked when my dad decided to put on Nitro, and I saw Public Enemy put somebody through a table. I was like, oh shit.
That was like every Nitro, if I'm not mistaken.
Often. Yeah. So I started watching Nitro. I didn't start watching WWF until I'd say like late 98.
Oh, okay.
And then I would switch back and forth. And then once about when, like how you mentioned earlier, when WCW made the logo change and they unmasked Rey Mysterio and all that, I had enough. So I switched over to WWF at that point.
Yeah, I was in a very similar boat. I got brought into wrestling with The Undertaker. Did not understand that like it only happened certain days. So I legit checked every single channel in the world one day, and I came upon wrestling, but from somewhere else, and it was WCW. And I would go home, or I would go to school, and I'd have friends talking about, the Nation of Domination, and I'm like, who? What about the Horseman?
Yeah.
And they're like, what the fuck is a Horseman? I'm like, you don't know the Horseman? Crazy.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to meet Messina, I'd say maybe a year or two after getting into wrestling, and he was into WCW. So we both shared that love, and we were able to discuss that. And then WCW started actually kind of growing in popularity at the time. So a few of our other friends started getting into WCW, and we started doing like the Nitro parties and stuff like that. So yeah, I was WCW, man.
That's awesome to hear, bro. Because I don't know, I feel like there's something about it when you grew up with WCW. You have a little bit different feeling of what wrestling should be. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe it's just me.
I think there's a lot more match focus when it comes to WCW. With WWF, it was always about building those legendary characters that you're going to remember forever. Yes. And WCW was really just more about like and this is some like solid wrestling from all over the world. You can see all these different styles and guys you've never heard of. Like that was the draw, guys you've never heard of as compared to these legends that, you know, did this crazy cartoon stuff.
Absolutely. Cartoon stuff indeed. Cartoon stuff indeed. Well, that was the show.
Especially then.
Yeah, especially exactly back in 96 for damn sure. But that was it.
Yeah.
Hog Wild was interesting. We got through it, no problems. So now is about the time I love to give all of my guests a lovely little platform. If there's anything you'd like to plug, feel free to do so now.
No, I mean, I don't really plug anything. So I just plug RWT, TSK, Too Sweet Click. Join us on Wednesdays if you want for the live stream of Dynamite. We have a lot of fun. Yeah, man, nothing that I've got to plug. Just keep it too sweet. That's all I got to say.
There we go. I absolutely love it. But he's 100% correct. If you're looking for a nice, comfortable, chill place to be a casual, a hardcore, a wrestling fan, period, RWT, Raw Wrestling Talk on Facebook is probably the one and only place you should be. There's no negativity. There's no crazy animosity. We can always have a discussion whether our opinions are different or not and come to a mutual understanding. That's one thing I have absolutely loved about this group for about the 4, maybe almost 5 years I've been in it. So it's awesome. Check it out again. RWT, Raw Wrestling Talk on Facebook. You also have the Max Wrestling guys on there as well. You know, a little partnership going on for those who want to get a little creative. You know, some knowledge stuff, promo gimmicks, the whole nine. You know, come check us out. We're out here having a lot of fun. And then, yes, Wednesdays. My Wednesdays would not be the same without hanging out with the Too Sweet Click. My man Harold and his beautiful wife. And I believe that's your mother-in-law?
Yeah.
And
your
mother-in-law. Your awesomely hilarious mother-in-law who will bust a rap like nobody's business. Likes her some Hangman. We catch Dynamite every Wednesday. It's like being in the crowd. I shit you not. We may not be able to actually like go to the shows right now or, you know, do that whole thing. But watching on a live stream with this guy, his family, and all the people that join us every Wednesday, it makes you feel like you just spent a bunch of money to hang out and watch a show. But you're doing it from the comfort of your own home.
That's right.
So, again, make sure to check that out. And an easy way to do that is to make sure you're following us on all platforms of social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, SMRPodNet, everywhere you can. Also on twitch.tv. Weekly streams will begin again soon. It's hard to be a dad and to try to do weekly streams, but I assure you they're coming back, you know. We're going to stick with the retro gaming, mainly N64 stuff. We have multiple titles on WCW NWO Revenge to go for still, so there's that. There's going to be some Federation domination, if you will, when I finally get done with Revenge and jump over to WCW NWO World Tour. They have like 4 different promotion brackets, and I'm like, cool, let's beat them all.
Sick.
So, yep, that'll be that. This show, as you see, it is officially 24 years ago today, because I believe it's going to kind of be like a double thing. Oh, no, it'll be 24 years ago this week, because we still have that one other. Anyway, so I hope you guys enjoyed this. This was a whole heck of a lot of fun. You know, maybe if I'm real nice to Harold, he'll want to come back and do this again. But in the meantime, again, check out RWT. Say what's up to Harold. Tell him you appreciate him. And we'll catch y'all around the bend. Peace out.
Thank you.